What's going on, everybody? Welcome back on air with Chris Sheffield, and I'm excited to kick off our 2022 NFL Draft Prospect interview series with a local product, and he just so happens to be arguably the top at his position in this year's draft. They call him the super back. You can see him lined up at running back, fullback, maybe in the slot at times, from Northern Illinois University. By way of Western Illinois, a leatherneck turned Husky, Clint Ratkovich joins the show. Clint, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's going awesome. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure's all mine. I've been following your career since the Crete-Monee days, and here you are now preparing for the 2022 NFL Draft. You got the T-shirt on, man, the long sleeve shirt, I should say. You're coming off of a big week over in Las Vegas as you were able to participate in the longest running all-star game, one of the top college football all-star games in the country, and that's the East-West Shrine game. What did you take away from that experience, being able to showcase your talent in front of all 32 NFL teams while going against some of the best in the country?
Oh, it was just great exposure. It was well put together. I feel like everything we did, every meeting, every interview that we were doing, the time was used very well. Eric Galco did a great job of putting everything together. Went really smoothly, and like you said, just being able to compete against the best and show what I can do on a football field.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you were one of the I've read a couple articles on the game, and it sounds like you had yourself a good week. Sounds like you certainly caught some attention out there. What was some of the feedback that you had gotten when you would meet with scouts throughout the week? How are NFL teams viewing you as a prospect?
Yeah, kind of the same. Almost the same thing I did in college, kind of that hybrid role that can do a little bit of everything. A few teams wanted me to gain a little weight. A few wanted me to stay where I'm at. A few even wanted me to lose a little bit. So kind of just staying right there in the middle and being able to do everything well, be a true running back, be a fullback if I need to. And also, if I have to split out there and play some receiver. And then a big thing a lot of the teams were talking about was special teams. I was lucky enough to play special teams mostly my whole career in college. So, that's going to help me moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, a lot of focus is put on offense and defense, but there is another phase to the game, and that is special teams. And you see week in and week out, mistakes on special teams become very costly. And obviously, when you have a solid special teams, looking at the Cincinnati Bengals and look at where they're at, playing in the Super Bowl this weekend, it could be very costly on both ends of the front. But Clint, you're from Crete, Illinois. It's where I reside currently. You went to Crete-Monee High School, which during your time as a football player there, you towards the end, your senior year, you're a part of a great team that made it to the state finals. Unfortunately, you guys did come up short, but I mean, you had an incredible season. I believe you racked up over, I believe over 1,800 yards, over 30 touchdowns. Heck of a way to close out your high school career to get ready for the collegiate days. Crete-Monee has kind of become a football hotbed in the state of Illinois. I mean, guys like Laquan Treadwell, Lance Lenore, Niles Morgan, all products of Crete-Monee High School as well. Were you on the same team as any of those guys at any point? I gotta think you were, right? At least Niles Morgan. I want to say even Treadwell and Lenore. Is that right?
So I was actually at Marian Catholic my
okay.
year when they were seniors at Crete. And then sophomore through senior year, I was on Crete. So I was able to play 1 year with, it was Niles Morgan, Chris Slayton, and some of those guys.
That's right.
I got the chance to play with Lance at Western Illinois.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like I said, I mean, when talking about high school talent in Illinois, I mean, Crete-Monee is one of the tops. And I went to Rich East, so you guys certainly had our number when I was going there. And certainly, I mean, Rich East is no longer anymore. It's now Rich Township High School. But so those guys have gone through this same process. A lot of those guys, actually, all those guys made it to an NFL camp, and Treadwell is still doing his thing in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars now, just coming off of one of his best best years of his career statistically. Any chance, whether it be one of those guys from Crete-Monee or any of your other former college teammates? I know Jalen Acklin went through this process and things went very well for him. He had a stint in the NFL before now being one of the top CFL players. Brett Taylor, how that guy didn't get more attention coming out of Western Illinois, I don't know, but he did ultimately get his shot in a Minnesota Vikings camp. Have you been able to reach out to any of those guys, or have any of those guys reached out to you and given you any advice as you now kind of look to follow their footsteps in a sense?
Yeah, so I talked to Lance, I believe it was about a month or two ago, just talking about everything a little bit. But big mentor for me was Sean McGuire. He was our quarterback at Western Illinois. I believe he got a mini camp tryout with the Dolphins and the Vikings. And then right now he's playing with the Winnipeg Jets as quarterback. So, he's been through the process as well. And just being able to talk to those guys has been, so beneficial because it's very unknown. You go from being a college football player with everything set in stone, you got a report date, you got all this, and now you're just thrown out there on your own. So it's awesome to have a little guidance from those older guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Sean McGuire, another guy that's doing big things north of the border, a Grey Cup champion in the CFL. So certainly that's great to hear. Clint, you've had a couple of my personal favorites as your college head coaches. Big fan of Charlie Fisher, who, if I'm not mistaken, actually personally recruited you to Western Illinois back when you were a senior at Crete-Monee. And then this past year, Thomas Hammock, the head coach at Northern Illinois, and the job that he has been able to do at Northern Illinois over the past few years. And then just looking at what you guys were able to do this year, I think you guys were predicted to finish last in the MAC, and you guys just go on and shut everybody up and go on to win the MAC, which is obviously a huge credit to the coaching staff and obviously the players as well, everybody a part of the program. You can't help but respect it. They don't necessarily need to be who I just mentioned, Fisher or Hammock, but can you just shed light on the coaches that you've dealt with over the years and how they've helped you along this journey?
Yeah. Both those coaches, as well as my old head coach from Western after Fisher left, Coach Elliott, all have been great. They've been great head coaches. Two that actually stand out to me were my position coaches. JP Boudreau at Western Illinois. He was my first position coach there. He's a younger coach, but he's very knowledgeable. He taught me, the X's and O's of football rather than just, watching film just to watch it. He taught me how to study it, how to read a defense, how to do a lot of other things that can help you on a football field. So, I'm grateful to have him as a coach early on. And then Coach Nick at Northern Illinois, he was my running back coach this year. He's an awesome guy. He's also very knowledgeable at football, played at Alabama, and then I believe he played with the Titans for 2 years before he started coaching. So, he's got some great football experience and just an awesome guy.
I've seen an interesting statistic. This past year, Northern Illinois actually led the country in total rushing yards, not including I think it was Navy or Army. How were you guys able to get the job done this year? Just looking back at this season in general, I mean, as I mentioned, you guys you weren't on anybody's radar. It seemed like everybody, the voting polls had you finishing last in the MAC, and then you guys go on and you guys end up winning not only the MAC West, which you actually had the game-winning touchdown in overtime against Buffalo, but then you guys go on to win the MAC and obviously got that bid to play in the bowl game as well.
Yeah, so it just started from day one. I got there in January of 2021. It was myself and transfer quarterback from Michigan State, Rocky Lombardi. They threw us in a house together. I was able to connect with him early on. He's one of my best friends now. And, just talking goals from day one. We had a very young football team who went 0-6 last year, but what we saw was a team with a lot of talent and a lot of room to improve. So, we just got to work during winter conditioning, got in shape, and then had a really good spring ball. We set some goals as ourselves for a team, to win the conference championship because that's what it's all about. And, just taking it day by day was the biggest thing, just not letting it get too big. And, when we started winning football games early on in the season, it started to, boost some confidence for some younger guys, which was awesome to see. And was able to just make a run at it. And, it was an awesome experience. And, I'm glad I made the transition there.
And coming from Western Illinois, you guys are playing in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. It's been the best conference in the FCS for a number of years now. How did that help prepare you play in the MAC?
Yeah, like you said, it's just the best conference in the FCS, I think, by far. Week in and week out, you can be playing a team that's winless at that point in the season, but you can't relax on them at all. Everyone in that league's a great football team, and can play to a high standard at any point in time. So just the competitiveness of the league, set us up for the MAC, which this year I believe was probably one of the most competitive seasons the MAC's ever had, especially the MAC West. I think there were 6 eligible bowl teams in the MAC West. I think everyone might have made it. So, just the competition from the Missouri Valley just transferred over to the MAC for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that there are a lot of similarities between the two conferences, especially just week in and week out. You never know who might pull an upset on who, and I mean that's what makes it so fun and so entertaining to watch and be a fan of both of these conferences. Again, we're chatting with Clint Ratkovich, 2022 NFL Draft prospect out of Northern Illinois by way of Western Illinois. Crete, Illinois native. And Clint, do you feel like there's a skill that you possess or a part of your game that goes unnoticed?
I'd say just the preparation. I guess I would say it'd be easy for a player to play a lot of positions and do it at, an okay level, but to play it at a high level takes a lot of preparation. I go into meetings and prepare myself almost like a quarterback. When I'm in those install meetings week in and week out, I don't try to just look at what, one position's doing. I try to understand the scheme of the play, which I feel helps me dramatically. If I am just playing a true running back, running just like inside zone, I'm looking at what the O line's doing, where their combos are working to, and just little things like that helps me as a player, because once you understand the full scheme, it helps you out basically to do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, and we've seen you catch the ball out of the backfield quite a few times, and I don't know if it's because I've done some research, and I know you mentioned, a player that you've grown up watching, Julian Edelman, somebody that you grew up idolizing. Like I feel like you almost have a similar body type, a little bit taller, obviously, a little bit bigger, obviously, but I feel like it wouldn't totally be out of the question, or it wouldn't totally surprise me if a team were to ask you, "Hey, would you mind lining up in the slot? Can we see you out of the slot?" Has that been asked of you? Maybe sometime during practice last week at the East West Shrine game.
Yeah, definitely having those interviews with some coaches. They've asked, are you able to go out there and run some receiver routes? And that's something I take pride in. It's something I've been working on a lot in training now, because if the numbers call to me and they're asking me to do that, I'll definitely be ready for it. So just kind of being that versatile player is where they've kind of seen me as.
It could be from your days at Western Illinois. It could be from this past season at Northern Illinois. And I know there was quite a few memorable plays just this past season, Clint. But what would you say is the most memorable play that you've made throughout your collegiate career?
I'm going to go with the last run of the game from Buffalo, the walk-off run. There's not a lot of times you get to have a walk-off touchdown, especially in overtime for a game that can seal up, the MAC West for you and give you a shot at the MAC championship. So that was an awesome experience. As soon as I seen it blocked up well, I was able to get around the edge. I knew it was going to be a touchdown. So, at the end there, I kind of looked back, see if there's any flags, because I was thinking in my mind, when I score this, I'm going to punt the football. So I was just making sure it wasn't going to get called back, and the walk off, have a nice little celebration at the end.
Yeah, hopefully scouts don't dock you a little bit on that punt. I know it probably didn't go as far as you hoped it to, but another one that obviously sticks out is the 96-yard run. I believe early second quarter against Western Michigan. If you could, can you just go through that play? What did you see that allowed you to just get that burst after the little skirmish there at the line of scrimmage and take it all the way for 96 yards? I'm not sure many people expected you to find your way in the end zone on that play.
Yeah, so it was a heavy personnel for us. We just ran counter. What they're doing a lot, linebackers were scraping over pretty hard during the game, because it was just something we were sticking to early on. And that backside linebacker scraped over a little too hard, was able to get, around them. And from there, it was just a foot race, beat out the safeties, beat out everyone else, and I was able to do so. So I was just thinking in my mind the whole time, just don't get caught.
Yeah, and you did not. You did not, and you made it all the way 96 yards for the score. The fan base at Northern Illinois, it's quite impressive, and I think we've seen a lot of it this past season, and especially with the success, you're going to see more of a positive vibe out there by the fan base. But how did they welcome you there at Northern Illinois? It seemed like very quickly on you became a fan favorite.
Oh yeah, they're awesome. I mean, I love the fans at Northern. Like you said, it creates an atmosphere, especially early on in the season where we start winning football games. Big game against Wyoming, and I mean, it looked like a packed house to me. So just to have that atmosphere out there, all the fans, like you said, were accepting of me. I just got to work as soon as I got there. Didn't really say much, and it was awesome that they had my back and were able to come out and support the football team like they did. I feel like it was a big part of our success this year.
If I were to ask you the best player that you've lined up against throughout the years, is there a specific name or two that comes to mind?
Uh, I mean, it's almost easy to say at this point, but we played Michigan this year and was able to play against Aiden Hutchinson. I had to give some chips on him at the edge. Didn't really deal with him too much, but you can tell he's a very explosive player and very smart football player, which I don't think a lot of people give him as much credit for, but you can just tell, uh, especially on tape, how smart he is.
Yeah, and obviously a Heisman finalist and somebody that's expected to go top 10 in the 2022 NFL Draft. Clint, I see here the Northern Illinois website has you listed at 6'1", 220 pounds. Is that about where you're at right now?
No, so I'm right around 6'1", like 232, 233.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why they had me as that because my senior year, where when I weighed in there, that spring ball, I was right around like 228, 229. So they got me a little light.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I absolutely just wanted that out there for the records. Now, with the Shrine Bowl officially behind you, I mean, I'm sure all focus is on the NFL Combine and your pro day. Where are you currently training at for that? And have you received an NFL Combine invite yet?
Yeah, so I'm out in basically Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a small town, Grove City, but at Grossetti Performance, Terry Grossetti,
Okay.
great coach. I love what we've been doing, and he puts us to work for sure. But I have not received a combine invite yet, hoping for it. But if not, I'm ready to show up my pro day.
Yeah, absolutely. One pro day, two pro days. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Grossetti usually holds his own pro day. Will you also be doing a pro day at Northern Illinois? Or I know a lot of the local products get the invite to Northwestern as well.
Yeah,
Or is that still in the works?
from what I heard, I don't know if Terry's going to hold one this year, but yeah, I'm definitely going to do one at Northern.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything about Northwestern yet. I feel like if I can have a good day at Northern, I'll be just fine.
Absolutely. What would a good day consist of for you come pro day? Do you have any specific numbers or any goals in mind that you'd like to reach?
Yeah, I want to try to get over 30 on the bench press for 225, and then for the 40-yard dash, I feel like I can break into the 4.9 or 4.5s. Sorry. So if I can get a 4.59 and below, I'll be very happy with myself, and it's something I feel like is very achievable. Which, a lot of the websites and stuff out there have me listed like a 4.8 guy, which, I mean, that's just not true. So I'm very excited to try to prove some of those guys wrong.
Absolutely, and credit to you for going out there and giving us some of the numbers you'd like to reach. It's been harder, it's been more difficult to get guys to actually give us their goals over the years. 3-4 years ago, no problem, but a little bit. I don't know if it's social media getting bigger and bigger or whatnot, but appreciate you giving us some goals that you'd like to hit 4, 5, 40, 30 on the bench press. That would absolutely be fantastic for you. Usually I ask players, if there's somebody that they like to model their game after. And again, I know Julian Edelman is somebody that one of your favorite players that you grew up watching, a name that is, it seems like your name is connected to him. Kyle Juszczyk. Is that a player that you like to be compared to? I mean, he's obviously probably he's the top fullback in the NFL currently, so I'm sure that's a name that you don't mind hearing.
Yeah, no, I love Kyle Juszczyk's game. Like a very smart football player, very physical, and very athletic. You got to be a special athlete to be able to play those multiple positions because you got to be in there going against some of those three techs and be able to handle them. But at the same time, you got to be able to go split out and run some routes against some NFL DBs. So yeah, he's definitely a special talent. I love that people are able to throw my name in there with his.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see the flashes, no doubt about it. And the fact that you're able to have the breakout year at Northern Illinois, I got to think only helps you out even more in this process. And then the week that you had in Las Vegas last week. Couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. Clint, really do appreciate your time. Any chance you grew up a Chicago Bears fan?
I did like the Bears growing up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I asked that because it looks like they're bringing in a new coaching staff that'll be implementing a Kyle Shanahan type of offense, which means the Bears will be on the lookout for a fullback if true. Obviously, getting a chance to play for any of the 32 NFL teams, I'm sure would be a dream come true, even if it happens to be that team up north. But have you given any thought to possibly playing for your hometown team?
Oh, it'd be amazing, especially just for the aspect. You see the Bears growing up everywhere. Everyone's wearing it back in our hometown. Everyone's got it on, and just be able to be close to family. It'd be awesome. All the family be able to drive not even an hour away and come watch me play all this time. Well, what now? The Bears are building a new stadium in Arlington Heights, right?
That's
So
right.
that's still not too far from me. So, it'd be an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they could be in need of a fullback, so that could be a possibility. We'll see. Final question. I'll leave you out on this, Clint. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're listening. They're watching this very interview. Why should they want Clint Ratkovich, the running back, the fullback, the super back out of Northern Illinois, Western Illinois, a part of their team?
Yeah. Besides everything I bring to a football team, there we go, off the field, on the field, uh, just being able to be a great locker room guy, going to have no problems there, be able to bring up the team, be a leader, a servant leader on and off the field, and then also being able to provide on the field as a very versatile player. But, the major thing that some of these NFL teams look for is roster spots. And a great thing I feel like I can do for an NFL team is save some of those roster spots, play backup running back, backup receiver, and kind of bring in some other talent somewhere else where that a team, maybe could use. Maybe we can use some more D linemen, more safeties, anything to help out a team.
Absolutely. There you have it. Clint Ratkovich, the running back, the fullback out of Northern Illinois. And yeah, the more you can do, obviously, as we've seen it, certainly will help your chances. Clint, I really appreciate you taking the time this evening. It's been a lot of fun watching your career unfold and seeing the great opportunity you had last week in Las Vegas at the East West Shrine Bowl. Definitely got to keep in touch and keep us posted on how the pro day goes and just everything leading up to the 2022 NFL draft, man.
Yep. Yeah, sounds good, Chris. Thanks again for having me on.
Absolutely, my pleasure. There he goes. That's Clint Ratkovich, the fullback, the running back out of Northern Illinois by way of Western Illinois University. Definitely appreciate Clint for hopping on. Again, if you guys missed this interview in its entirety, you can check it out on the YouTube page. Just search On Air with Chris Shanafelt. You can follow me on Twitter. It was live on my timeline as well at Chris Shanafelt. And then it's also going to be on Apple iTunes and Spotify as soon as we end this broadcast. And that'll do it for tonight. Special thanks to Clint Ratkovich for joining the show, Crete-Monee's very own. Definitely wishing him all the best. And we'll be back later on this week with more prospect interviews, including quarterback from South Dakota State, Chris Oludekon, and others. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody, and have a great night.